Casey, you're a mom of 4, an executive, just moved from New York, traveling all the time. You good?
No.
Ladies and gents, everyone, welcome to my podcast, You Good, today with Executive Director of Art Production Fund and one of my dearest friends, Casey Fremont. Hi, Casey.
Hi, Claire.
Thanks for being here today.
Thanks for having me. No one really does such a dramatic intro.
Well,
I love it.
You got to just do you, right?
As you say. It's true.
It's true.
Mm-hmm. Why not?
Why not? Today we're going to get deep.
Okay.
Are you ready?
You like that? Yeah.
I love that.
You like deep.
No, I love deep.
Yeah. Where do you want to start?
We're going to start with success.
Okay.
You know, I want to talk about inner success and what that means to you.
Inner success, like happiness. And
Like,
I mean, I think inner and outer,
it's all success.
they're all wrapped up together.
But the success that stays forever, that isn't coming and going.
Right. Right.
What does that
Well,
look like?
I feel like it's always different. I feel like it's different for every person, of course. I guess that's the inner part, right? This is like how we feel inside. I think that my most successful moments are when I feel like all the parts of my life are in harmony and balance, and they kind of, everyone seems to be kind of like functioning as they should. And those moments, they're not forever. They're quite fleeting.
Like,
in
do
my
they ever
case,
happen? Or-
Sadly, I think they do. I think they do. Like, there are those moments, you know, those moments that you feel like really just like, this is like one of the, I don't want this moment to end. And you want to like hang on to
Yeah.
like a day or a whatever, like what, you know, those are the moments I think that I'm like, okay, this is really good. And I try to like tap back into those moments when I'm having my less together
Look at you.
moments. Yeah.
That's good.
I mean, is that doing the work, Claire?
that is crushing the work.
No, I don't know. But
No, it is, because I think it's just kind of a practical approach.
well, I think we have to be realistic about how much we can take on, right? Like,
Yeah, I mean, how many kids do we have
So-
combined? How many kids do you have? Tell the audience.
well, I have 4.
She has 4 kids, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah. So that is shocking for me too.
For modern society, it's shocking. I
And
mean,
you have 3, and so we have 7. So that's a lot of
Yeah.
that's a lot of
Play
like,
dates are very busy.
responsibilities. Yeah. We're like really, we've got a lot of mouths to feed and a lot of on our plate.
yeah, we've just like a little bit on our plate.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I love that balance. Balance is
Libra.
success. Oh, balance, right?
Yeah. So it
Of
needs
course
I
you
need
are.
that.
You're balanced. And when you are in that balanced state, how does it make you feel?
Good. I mean, I think I feel like
Peaceful
sane.
and chill
yeah.
and,
Like I feel like, okay, this is all okay. And
Yeah.
then when I'm out of balance or when something is off, I get really rocked. Like I'm very rocked by, like I try to be zen, more like you, Claire, but I'm not that zen of a person. But I freaking out inside.
Same.
No, I think I really do. If things go out of like slightly off, like a kid gets sick and they can't go to school that day and I have to rearrange my schedule, or I really do. It like causes a full breakdown, but I'll work on that. I promise for you.
Good. Obviously, you have a big family. You also have a big job that you've had for a long time. And you also started your family 13 years ago.
Long time
I think we were teenagers.
We were so young.
You were 28 when you had your first baby.
Yeah.
So you always kind of knew from the get-go that you wanted to have kids and a
I
career.
guess I was never somebody who thought that they were going to have, certainly not 4 kids. I also like, I'm not like a big, not like a big kid person. I think it's weird, right? Because I have so many, but I love my kids. And I feel like, okay, I was 28. That's like really, really young. I don't really think I knew what I was signing up for, which is probably like ignorance is bliss. And it was probably a blessing. I just kind of went for it. I like got married at 27. We got pregnant right away. I hate when people say we got pregnant. Like I got pregnant.
You got pregnant. But it did take a we.
Yes, but I was pregnant. Whatever. We had the baby quite quickly. But I did have a job. I'd been at Art Production Fund for 8 years at that point. I started when I was 20, and before that, I was like a 16-year-old intern. So there was like a long history of. I just was always sort of loved the idea of like being in the professional world. Um, and yeah, I was working with two like very inspiring working women, mothers, and I felt like, of course, that's what you do. And I remember hearing comments from like other, mainly like women who hadn't had children, I think, that were like, oh, it's so sad that she's having kids so young. What about her career?
Really?
Yes. I remember like somebody repeating this to me and telling me that somebody had said that.
Directly
and I was like,
to so someone didn't say it
not to my
directly
face.
to you.
Yeah. And I was like, that's like really sad. Like it's 2012, we can have both. Why are we choosing? And I remember being really confident in that because I had been working with these moms, that both co-founders of Art Production Fund, Yvonne and Doreen, are both mothers. And so it was like, why would we need to choose? And I think my confidence came from the fact that it was always a very pro parent environment in the workplace. So like family
Our
was
production
first.
fund was.
Yeah. It was always.
I mean, you're lucky.
It's really a unique situation. I think even in like the 12 years since I've started having children, it's changed. And it's changed the way that women are able to like navigate that. Yes. Like even like pumping in the office, maternity leave, like flexible work from home, I think has changed a lot. So I don't think I really knew what I was getting into, but I do think that I had incredible role models around me. And I feel like I was very privileged and blessed to feel like I didn't really have to choose. I look back now and I realize how different it was with my first child to like the way that I work now with my fourth child in that 12-year span. Like I was saying, like when I had Rex, it was like I had a 3-month maternity leave, which was amazing. And that was like so great. And then as soon as that 3 months was over, like I was back at my desk. And, in the art world, it's not just like a 9 to 5 job. You're like at your desk all day, rolling calls, doing whatever, going to meetings, running around. Like I would carry my giant pump in like a horrible looking tote. I remember I like tried to find something that could fit all this shit. It was a different time. They weren't compact yet.
Right. You couldn't like
no, there was no like
squeeze your nipples
there was no,
as
like,
you're like
in
driving.
the shirt. Yeah, it was like all the things I do now. But it was very different. And I would carry my tote bag around with my pump and I was gone the whole day. And I was gone then, I would somehow go out at night. Like, and I would sometimes
with a
be
3-month-old.
Yeah, with a 3-month-old
you were also
baby.
28 or 29.
Right, totally. So like my stamina was in a very different place. Like that's a whole different story. But I just mean like the expectation that like that was my job. So that's how I operated. And I kind of continued like that. Now it's like, I think, this Zoom, as much as I absolutely cannot stand being on Zooms, it's changed a lot. And I think it's actually helped a lot of working parents to balance both. And I think that's amazing. We should all like lift that up and, as much as we can, people in leadership roles and professional environments should give that access to their, parent employees.
100%.
Did that answer the question?
Beyond. I'm like,
okay. Oh, yes. But wait, so people were really talking shit about me. Like there were lots of like little whispers because I was quite young. Yeah. Which was mean also. It's like really mean.
Mean, a lot of people are mean because they're insecure, which is why we're doing a show.
Right. And it's super anti-feminist. It's ultimately quite anti-feminist to even ever suggest that a woman would have to choose between the two. And I hope that we're like making progress and kind of like veering away from that point of view.
I don't know. I would challenge to say we've got to go a lot further.
For sure. And I think it oddly it's like a woman on woman judgment.
Always, most of the time.
Yeah. Which is unfortunate because we're holding each other back.
Yeah. The men just know that we're going to do whatever we need to do to move things forward. They're like, yes, you will work. And yes, you will be the mother. And yes, you will organize everything. Yeah, that's a whole other issue.
That's the other thing. We aren't, we are doing so much and now women have shouldered everything. It's like we're expected to take care. I mean, I could really go off on
maybe we should talk. Let's go off on the tangent because frankly, that's.
You know how I feel about shared responsibilities in the household.
Let's go in there. Let's go there.
Well, okay. it really is important to me, especially having 3 sons and a daughter, that there is a modeled behavior within our household, that my partner and I, my husband and I, we share responsibilities, and there are the same expectations for him as there are for me, rather than it being like, mom will just deal with it, or,
dad will just deal with it.
Yeah, but like, what are dads really ever?
Well, I just feel
like going out and like making the money, or like having the job,
or like mowing the lawn. I don't know.
right?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, that's like a typical dad thing.
Or like taking out the trash, which my husband doesn't even do, barely.
Oh yeah, see, mine does.
We don't need to throw everybody under the bus right now, but
no, we're not.
We can also be honest.
Mean.
We can just be honest. I think this is a safe space.
I think it's important. Like, okay, so my husband is wonderful. We love him. He's a chef. So he takes care of all. He is our food and beverage department.
He makes a great margarita.
No, actually, he doesn't.
He
doesn't.
It was us. Who was?
Yes, remember he was like, it's just lime juice and tequila.
Right,
and I was like,
okay. Actually, you're right. You're right.
It was a terrible margarita. Your husband makes a great margarita.
He does. He makes a fabulous margarita.
He loves a margarita.
He loves one.
So everyone has their strengths.
I know.
But, I think that but then there are certain things that he just doesn't do. So that's important that everyone contributes.
No,
I have a full-time job. He has a full-time job. We need to both contribute. Yeah. There needs to be equality here.
I need to grab a little bit more of that, because I show up in all the ways my mom showed up. Like, my mom was working full-time, sometimes more full-time than my dad was. And she was also expected to organize the birthday presents for the thousands of invites you get, whatever, or, all the mom things that you do.
Yeah.
And, I just saw her constantly stretched, never really finishing a project properly. I mean, that's also another issue, time management.
So
especially
did your
for an
dad,
artist.
what was your dad's role then in the day-to-day?
My dad would be, he's very
we love your dad.
Oh my gosh, he's great. He was emotionally all of our cheerleaders. He would do some of the driving. He also had an art gallery in downtown Philadelphia to run.
Right.
And he was an entrepreneur.
Working. Yeah, but still, the bulk of the kids stuff or whatever fell on your mother. Or no?
It fell on my mom.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
Because sometimes they just don't know how to.
But why not? Aren't they why? Why do they get a pass? Because
I think because we are more capable.
But is that because they've been excused because the
for
bar
so
is
long.
On the floor?
And so
okay, so let's bring up this example. First of all, I have 2 things. One, it's the example of the dads being cheered on when they pick the kid up the one time at school. They're such an involved parent. That's something that everyone can really relate to. And it's well, why? Because, and then a mother is picked up,
or what is it? PTA, Parent Teachers Association. Yeah. It's all run by women.
You're right.
So you're supposed to not sign up. If you're a woman and you're listening, do not sign up, or
that's a really good
doing it. The men need to start showing up.
Brandon was the class parent one year.
Good.
I know, and I was don't do it. He was just super inspired by the first conversation with the teacher, and it was during Zoom school days, and he sent an email immediately, and then I was
you know what? Greg wouldn't even dream.
That was really nice of him, but he's not it's all about corresponding, and he's not he doesn't really know how to do any of that.
Right.
He's not. He's in the kitchen.
Right. He's not doing admin.
He's not
an
admin guy. So I was really helping him construct those emails, but I was proud of him because I'm also not on any of those parent WhatsApp group chats because
obviously.
Yeah. But Brandon is. He'll give me the cliff notes.
Brandon is definitely good.
He's a great dad.
He's a great dad.
Thank God. I would just say that don't you think that anyone who's well, first of all, does anyone say that they've figured it out? I figured out how to balance my kid and my job?
No, I think it's an endless,
right?
It's like yoga class. There's always an inch of fat to lose on the Peloton, or an extra moment, an extra breath to take in a yoga class. I just feel life isn't. It's
always changing. Right when you think you've got it down, it all gets
It all
turned
gets
upside
messed up,
down.
but that's the point
How
of
could you
life.
ever figure
That's
it
a
out?
journey.
Yeah, maybe we're all just supposed to be figuring it out as we go, and that's it.
I do feel that some people are more figured out than others, not bad or good, but more
Okay.
people look in the mirror and say, "Damn, I really gotta work on that," or "I'm not doing that. Maybe I'm drinking too much." Whatever it is,
Right.
and I respect those little self-improvements because I think tiny little different steps in your life and make huge outcomes over
Right.
years' time. So, figure it out? No. Being in a human body is by definition, we do not have it figured
No.
out.
No.
But,
Okay,
like,
good.
how
Yeah.
are we on our path to figuring like, how are we checking ourselves?
Yeah, and also, like, self-awareness and doing those checks and making sure we're, like yeah, I think always reflecting is really important, right?
Yeah, I do. I mean, it might be cheesy, but I think it's so important as, like, a creative to
Yeah.
look within. Are you an active manifester? I think you just kinda get shit done.
No, yeah, okay, but manifesting in, like, I will think about things and I will, like, set my focus on certain
Yeah.
things and,
You
try
get
to
it
achieve
done.
them, or I, like, do a spell, like our house in
Right,
LA.
right, right, right,
It's
right, right.
just you take it to the other side. Witchcraft can also be helpful.
Witchcraft. Listen, spells,
I think
rational
whatever it
you're a
takes.
Libra, so I think you just kinda get stuff done. It's like my husband. It's why I'm so attracted to him. It's why I love you as a friend because you guys I don't know, maybe I'm clumping you together, but you are practical.
Yes,
And you
for
just
sure I'm
and,
practical.
sometimes I get in the sky about things, you bring me right down, and then you kind of tell me 2 things, 2 steps and how to move forward, and it's an innate thing, and it's an innate talent that you guys have that most people don't have,
Well, that's
a
great.
practicality to
There we go.
manifest.
Yeah. But that's not to say that there aren't certain things that, like, yeah, we'll set goals for ourselves or intentions or, like, whatever. I do it in a lot less, literal way maybe than you do more, like, literal manifestation.
I do. But you just, I think, walk the walk instead of, like, saying, "I am language," or,
What does that mean?
like, "I am language." Okay, I am language is I don't really know what it is, but it means you just say, "I am beautiful, I am happy, I
Oh,
am
yeah.
abundant,
I would laugh I would,
Okay,
like,
I
laugh.
am
Do you look in the mirror when you say it?
no, you just write it down. Or you can say it to yourself. I think you can do both things.
Interesting.
Honestly, it's powerful. I couldn't get pregnant for 2 years, and then a friend told me to do it, and I started saying to myself, "I am fertile." I wrote it down on my laptop on the top left.
And you got pregnant.
I got pregnant pretty quickly after. I mean, it was like a perfect storm.
It's true though that we have a family friend who is like a wonderful like chart reader and she is guided me
She is
for
wonderful.
many
I've met
years.
her.
Yeah, for many, many years. And she has always said that like you speak it out loud. Whatever you want, you speak out loud. Like in the morning, say
Yeah.
it. I never really do that, but because I'm shy. So
Right.
even if I'm
That's why we're
alone,
good
I'll
together.
just like say it in my head, and that is my way of doing it. But I think it's about having it's clarity also. I think speaking it, writing it, like whatever you're doing is focusing and really being clear on what you want. And I do believe what you put out is what you attract and all of that. Like I think that's totally, totally true. And so just be careful what you put out in the world.
Amazing answer. I'm serious.
Okay.
Yeah, let's go back to the spell.
So
How did it happen?
okay. So it was a weird time.
What time was it? It was during COVID, right?
No, it was pre-COVID.
Okay.
It was so I'll take you back in the Wayback Machine to February 2020.
Wow.
We had already like made the decision we were going to move from New York to LA. We were like, okay, full speed ahead. Where are we going to live? We found this house in LA in like the neighborhood that Brandon had kind of been renting in and it felt familiar. I was like, this is like amazing. It was like, what we wanted, not something a nice little unrenovated house.
It's gorgeous.
You know what I like, my style. So it was this perfect little house but it was like kind of too expensive and it was kind of like we had to sell our apartment first. And our apartment was on the market at that point, but I don't think it had sold. Or maybe we were in contract, whatever. It was very up in the air.
Mhm.
So I was like, okay, we talked to our realtor. She was like, this is never going to happen. Like, you don't have a chance. I met with our family friend, Barry, who's amazing. And Barry was like, if you really want this house, then here's the spell. And she like gave me a spell, and she's like given me various spells over the years and kind of got, like I said, like done like guidance and based on the stars for our whole family for many years. So I really trust her, and I really believe in what her advice. So I went home, and Brandon was like living in LA at that point. So I was like home alone, did the spell, lit the candle, set it, did it. As the time progressed, of course, everyone kind of panicked. Oh, there was also then a developer had put an all cash offer in the house. It was like never going to be ours. We were like, I was like, okay, forget it. Like this will never happen. Because of the like anticipated pandemic, people started panicking. The developer pulled out. The seller was like, okay, now like I'm kind of turned off by this developer vibe, this like all cash vibe that's like quite obviously quite attractive when you're selling something. So I'm gonna like take a look at this like really shitty offer that it's that was us. And we wrote a letter. We did all the stuff that you're not really supposed to do anymore. Like they say doesn't really matter. We wrote a letter and we said we we love the house. We're not planning on tearing it down. We just want to like, whatever, upgrade it. And we had a really crazy offer, and arguably like a really also like this was thanks to our incredible realtor. She was really amazing, and uh, we like got the house with like it was like
But how did you, so did you burn paper? What was the spell?
oh well, the spell is a lot of specifics, and I don't remember it. There are flowers and there are candles, and there's a spell. There's like words that you say, but
And
it's
got
like a
the spell from
manifesting.
Barry?
Yeah, it's like manifesting a
Oh, you gave
it's
me the
a
spell one time.
yeah, it's a housing. It's like shelter or something spell. But it worked. I mean, it was really
It
kind of
worked.
against all odds, and it was, and also the like contingency of like us having to sell our apartment. Then it was the pandemic. Then it got like even more complicated. Our like buyers tried to back out, and it was like it was like a house of cards. And I was like, if one card falls, like this whole thing is falling apart. But we moved in, and then arrived in LA, and I was like, what have we done? But we got it.
But you got it. Spells
Yeah.
work. When did you start to really feel like you needed boundaries, or were you just master balanced, always executing boundaries from the get-go?
It's interesting, right? Because like boundaries are now like a thing that people talk about
Yeah.
having.
Yeah.
But isn't that in like the last, what, 3 years?
Probably since
It's
COVID,
like then.
really. I know.
I never knew you could have boundaries. Like I'm really
You were
serious.
just kind of good at them always? I feel like you're good at boundaries.
Really?
Yes. Like, yes.
No. No, things get really blurred and
Muddled.
crossed, and it's just not, there's a lot of line crossing.
Okay.
I think, well, I guess like you always say that I'm like quite good at like
Saying
saying
no.
no. I think saying no is important. I do have a friend that's very clear.
So
A
important.
friend that we both know is like very clear about like, you have to, I don't know what
no.
the exact quote is, but you have to have a strong no to have like a powerful yes. So you have to have a powerful no to have a strong yes. Because if you say yes to everything, you're just diluting it. So like it's quality over quantity. Right.
Right.
And like we are too busy to
So
not
when
edit.
did you take that approach?
I like editing things, I guess.
You love editing.
I do. I like a pared down life and a
Pared
pared down closet.
We got it at the same time.
Yes, I do. I like to get rid of
Boundaries
all the
in your
clutter.
closet,
I
boundaries
like
in
a clutter-free
everything.
life. Because we don't have time for that, right? Like we do have too many kids, too many things going on. Like we're full. We're like full, we're packed.
We're brimming. So
yeah,
was
like
it
do you
like
throw away your kids' things that they come home from school with?
what do you mean, like their clothes? Oh,
no, like they're like
every single day.
papers.
Every
yeah,
single
you
day.
have to. It
Every
seems
single day.
ruthless, but like we
My
would
kids
be drowning.
My kids see it and they are so upset. And my mother kept every single piece of everything.
Did you
no
go through all
boundaries?
that? Have you gone through all that?
I'm
or is
starting
it,
to, and it's a nightmare because you're like,
but is it kind of great?
It's great, but it's also tough.
Do you think she really kept everything, or is it just
No.
accumulated like over time? Because I have like select things, like I'll like edit through what they bring home and keep like each year they have a
No, I don't
everything.
really. I
She
just kind of
kept
throw
everything.
everything out
Oh, but
because
select a few things, and then it's like representative of that stage.
You know, I used to give away all the baby clothes, and now I want more kids. And I'm like, "What why did I
I
do
always
that?
did.
Why am I?"
Not yeah,
But, like, I gave away some nice things.
I did
Anyway,
too.
it's not about me, this is about you.
No, I mean, we can talk about it because I feel like I
It
did too, and
sucks.
sometimes we over edit, but that's okay because then you can start fresh.
Totally. That's what Grace says, "Start fresh always."
Ugh,
Just start fresh.
start fresh. Sometimes it's best.
So the boundaries were just always you love editing, you know, in high school, were you the same, like, editing your life?
I feel like I was a very different person in high school. I don't really remember anything. I
Perfect.
I don't know. I think I had a very different
Life.
I didn't have the need to edit, right? Because we were like I had
I
like
think
all the
that's the
time in the
point,
world,
but I think
right?
that's the point. It's
It
like
was out of necessity.
we have to have boundaries out of necessity because of the lives that we've created.
Yes, but at the same time, in my early 20s and in my early professional career, there were absolutely 0 boundaries. Like, I was working whenever, like, now it's a very different culture with young professionals. They're really able to say, like, "No, my workday has ended." For us, we were sort of in this
Right.
age group that, like, before we had iPhones, and really it was BlackBerrys, and for me, my first emailing device was a Sidekick,
Oh,
a
yeah, I remember
T-Mobile
Sidekick.
Sidekick, which looked like you were playing Game Boy.
It's like it flipped up.
Uh-huh. It was so embarrassing, but I had
No, it
one.
was so chic. If you had one, you were on it.
No, it was I quickly changed to a
Oh, I
BlackBerry
was
because
in
I was a
Rome at that time. I
professional.
didn't
Yeah.
remember.
So anyway, my side but, like, before you were able to be reached 24/7, you know,
Right.
we were in that period of kind of like the day would end, and then it was suddenly like, "This is genius. You can always reach your employee." And so the expectation was that you would always answer.
Yeah.
And it never leveled out. It never like kind of there weren't these boundaries. It was just the way that the technology had evolved and like our lifestyle kind of evolved with it. And now I think there's a correction being made, which I think is really important because these boundaries don't exist. Like I check my emails constantly. Like I'm
Constantly.
with my kids. I'm
Do you
like,
still clear it every night?
totally. I'm like a zero inbox person.
I can't. I've done that like 4 times in my life, and every time I
Do
do
you
it, I'm
how
like,
many do you
"Casey
have in
does
that
it."
little dot? Like the hundreds, thousands?
No, no, no. In the I have like
Like
I always
unread
have like
message dot.
30.
And they're like relevant? Because like
Mhm. Mhm. Mhm.
how do
Mhm.
you
I
how
forward
do
them a
you
lot to people in New York.
see, I can't do that. No. And
Yeah.
sometimes
I
I'll
delegate.
admit I get over aggressive with my marking as read.
Oh,
And then I'm like, it doesn't happen often, and it's okay. But because I just want inbox zero always, because it gives me so much anxiety to have unread messages.
right. So we're gonna talk about
The move.
the move that we moved from New York to LA, which I
Yeah,
celebrate every day.
I know you do.
How do you feel about our move here? Your move here, we simultaneously moved together.
I feel like I realized I have to stop saying I'm adjusting because now people are like, "How long have you been here?" And I'm
5
like,
years.
4 years.
4
And
years. Yeah.
but I'm a born and raised New Yorker. I never thought I
Yeah.
was gonna leave, so I really was, I think, quite, like, rattled by it. We moved during COVID, of course, like, that was
Yeah.
hard for us.
That
That
was
was a weird
super weird.
time. We had each
Yeah.
other, but, like, it was a weird time, and it was really, really hard for many reasons, but,
Yeah.
like, no, it's a roller coaster for me.
So, do you think being, like, out of your comfort zone has
Mhm.
been good
Yeah,
for you?
totally.
In what ways?
Well, in New York, I have my family, I had my job, I always had my career. I, built this career there. I had community. I never had to really start over. And, what's more fun than like turning 40 or whatever I was, 38, and moving to a new place and making all new friends? Did
But,
we want to do that?
I mean, I
I mean,
did.
you're great at it.
Listen,
I'm more shy. You're much more like
you're
you're an
Miss
extrovert.
Popular. Everyone loves you, everyone knows you. I love
You're such a
people.
great cheerleader.
It's just the truth.
You do. You love people.
I love people, and I
I don't
love
think
different
I
people.
don't
I love weird people. I love everything.
you do.
I have
And
ro
people love
I have
you.
rose thank you. But
People
I have
really do.
rose-colored glasses on, and I took those off this summer because of a few work incidents that happened that we don't need to get into right now.
But do you feel like this is all part of the edited lifestyle?
What do you mean? Like, having so many
Editing people?
friends? Well, I don't think I kind of experience people differently than I don't know. I love people. They give me energy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Have you been somebody, like, who always has, like, lots of best friends?
Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
see, I'm not.
But I don't like if I miss calling them on their birthday or something, like, I don't sit
I miss
there with,
everyone's
like,
birthday.
guilt and
Right.
what like, I show up in the way that I can, take it or leave it.
See,
I
that's a
have love.
boundary, but that's a really good boundary, like, you're not gonna feel guilt. I feel guilt all the time. I, like, overanalyze things. It's like, it takes up a lot of space
I
in my
don't
brain.
even know how to overanalyze. I'm always singing in my head, like
It's such a blessing.
I don't know if it's a blessing. I need to exercise my
That's
brain a little bit more,
excellent.
but
I think that's a really healthy way to process it. I just, like, spiral and have
I mean, I spiral too. Who doesn't spiral?
yeah, I spiral.
Who doesn't spiral?
It's bad. You know, we shouldn't spiral, but or maybe we should.
No, we shouldn't spiral. I
It's a waste
think
of
it's a
time.
waste of
It's
time.
often things that are completely out of my control.
And the other person that you're spiraling about
Doesn't
has
even
not thought about you or that
isn't
instance.
even on their radar. You know what's funny
They
though?
don't know who you
I feel like
are.
I miss the things that someone else is spiraling about. That, like, it didn't even cross my
Like,
mind.
you would watch it? You would watch?
No, like,
No.
someone, like, will come to me and be like, "You know what's been really bothering me?" And I'm like, "That was like, what? That's crazy."
Right,
You
right,
know?
right,
Like, "Oh
right.
my god, really? That, like, I wasn't even worried that that had bothered you because
But that's
it was so
spiraling,
not."
but that's, like, the essence
Exactly.
and why you
Like,
shouldn't do it.
it's, like, not a thing. I don't know, but you know what's unfortunate, I feel, and I really do think is part of this idea of balance and, like, the conversation around balance is, like, how do we separate the, like, totally bullshit spiraling stuff, like social even, like, work, because it's like, we're not, like, saving lives, but it can be stressful. Keep that away from, like, how we are with our kids. Like, I find that to be really hard because, you know, you'll be in a moment, like, in a stressful moment or whatever at work, and especially with these, like, blurred lines of, like, home, work, life,
Yeah,
you know, your kids will come home from school, and it's really hard to, like, um, kinda disconnect from whatever stress is happening in that area
totally,
and, like,
because
be a good parent.
then your client is texting you and you're
Yeah.
making dinner.
And because you're, like, trying to work remote or, like, trying to be available all the time, you see something come in the middle of this, like, family dinner or whatever. I aspire to have family dinners every night, but it's more like just a
I aspire to do that too. Sometimes we do.
do you all sit down together?
Sometimes, and the kids are, like, ripping each other's eyes out or
I wanna do that more. I think that's important,
well,
but
especially as the kids get older, I think it's nice,
right, totally. Yeah. Mine are kind of like they should be sitting down together.
but they're in very different ages.
Yeah, but we can, like,
Sit
separate
together.
out. Yeah. But anyway, you're sitting there and you're, like, interrupted by something that's happening with work, and it's very hard for me to, like, compartmentalize and, like, separate.
Me too. I mean, I have a business that's up and running in New York, so every day and I know you do too, every day I wake up with
Yeah.
stressful emails,
Yeah.
and I just wanna, like, yell at the kids while they're leaving the
It's
house.
so hard. I've really tried to, like, not look at my phone during that, like,
Yeah,
period of getting them out the door. Like,
boundary.
it's a good
It's
boundary
a
to
good
have
boundary to
because
have.
that can really throw the walk to school. Oh,
Totally.
and I do walk to
It's
school,
so sweet.
which is nice. Very non-LA.
Very non-LA. Well, you're very New York.
Thank you so much.
You're so welcome. You are a friend, you're a mom, you're a professional, you're so much to so many. So thank you for taking your time to come and chat with me, Casey Fremont. Thank you.
Thanks, Claire. Did we go deep enough? Deep enough for you?
We'll bring you back on season 2.